Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Tower of God Season 2, Episode 9. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. The crux of this episode dives into Hor-Yang's past as we learn more about the living ignition weapon situation, and we get our not proper, but pseudo introduction to the person who's like a brother to him, Kasano. Hor-Yang ends up explaining why he's been looking for Kasano and what this has all been about. Basically, some people from the workshop want, like, ignition weapons are powerful, but the problem is that they're just weapons. You put them in the form of a human body, they become something much more, and that's what this was all about. I mean, the whole storyline is just further showcasing and expanding the lore of how terrible things are in the tower, but more specifically how terrible people are in the tower when they're able to do what they're able to do. Like, is it just about power, or is it, I mean, it all comes down to power. Whether it's like, oh, I have this powerful weapon on my side, or is it just for the purposes of, I made something just to prove that you can be, to kind of be this, Dr. Frankenstein and make something so powerful, and just the recognition you would get from it. I mean, I'm sure, like, it's also like a payday, because it's like, I'm sure the workshop's going to make these weapons and then sell them. So I guess, it's money, power, fame, and recognition. Like, all that is amalgamated in why they did what they did. And it's a sad situation, because they also explore the fact is, you only, like, higher rankers are able to actually are allowed to have children in the middle area, and because of that, it is a situation that a lot of children end up getting abandoned, and that happened to Hor-Yang. He was abandoned and was experimented on as a child. Him and Kasano are the only living ignition weapons that survived the experiment. It was like, what, 99,999. They're the only two survivors, 21 and 99. Me and my trails of code still rummaging through my head with, like, siblings who are kind of experiments type of situation. But either way, they actually have real names. In Hor-Yang is in his real name is Ilmar. It's his real name, but I guess he abandoned it a long time ago when he got to where he is. But we'll get to that in a second. The only person they had in their life, in their world, was Miss Sophia. She's the one that taught them how to speak. She was the one that was kind to them. But after they were experimented on, after they basically had the devil split up, and half of it put in Hor-Yang, half of it put in Kasano. After that, they never saw Miss Sophia again. So they went from this, not sure, wanting to just die because it's just, you're stuck. They were stuck in that kind of bubble, like, stasis, like, state for so long. And then now the experiments furthered and became what they did, modified their bodies even further. That it's like Hor-Yang saw the sky for the first time the moment he was, like, going to be transported somewhere, most likely to be sold off maybe. But Hedon came and brought him into the tower, and he climbed the tower afterwards. But like a lot of people, he got to the 20th floor and he just stopped, because he just, like, it was just his way of just kind of wanting to let the past go. Once again, I think that's why he changed his name to Hor-Yang, just kind of to abandon everything, because it's like there's good with all that happened to him, but all the bad heavily outweighed it, especially when the one good in your life is completely gone, like that being Miss Sophia, but also your brother. And who knows, like, in that time frame after losing Miss Sophia, like, what that strain did to their relationship, because she was the thing that kind of bound them together, and without that equilibrium, it probably just threw them further and further apart. So, but the moment he found out Kasano was in the tower, it's when he decided to, like, find his brother again. And because it's like, once again, like I talked about, Sophia being gone, being a piece of that, gone, but he still does have his brother. And obviously it's like, this is someone who's been by your side. Like, even before Sophia, he is probably the more important person. Like I said, the three of them together is important, so losing her throws everything off, but he's still the most important person to you because he's the first person you woke up next to. Like, you've been bound together side by side for so long, and to be able to find that person again after so long, which obviously it means to, like, you can even Baum sees the parallels between their stories, because when the way he hears Hor-Yang talk about Kasano, it's the same way he feels about Rachel. It's like that person who was that first person you found, like, post getting out of the darkness, and that you can tell how much that really hit him. So the team decides, like, right, you want to find Kasano? We'll go out there and find Kasano tomorrow. We'll go meet your brother. And Hor-Yang's kind of surprised they want to go along with him, but it's like, yeah, like, this is something important to you, and because he's someone important to you, then he's going to become important to us. And Hor-Yang's kind of happy to have that support. I love that Yi was back to cooking, which everyone was kind of like, oh boy. Everyone's trying to pass the buck off, like, who's going to eat it. I love that Prince and Nising end up going to sleep. It's like, no, you were just up a second ago playing. Here they are faking it. And it was actually Baum who ate one of Yiwa's rice balls first. And the others, they were like telling Yiwa she should eat it. And she was like, nah, I'm good. Oh, not unless that was Go-Sing. But they were saying it to someone, and someone was like, nah, I'm good. It's like, no, you have to eat it too. So I don't know if it was like they were offering that to Yiwa, or that was Go-Sing being like, I don't want to eat it. Like, poor bastards. Everyone all around. But I guess it turned out okay, and I loved the little subtle smile, and even Wang Nam was like, wait, what? And he says, like, yeah, it was subtle, but I swear I saw Viol smile. He tries, it just, once again, that little bit of Baum comes out. I mean, he hasn't changed too much. He's still Baum deep down, but it's like, yeah, these past few years have not been kind to him. It's not like it's completely eradicated who he is, but he there's too much at stake, and he's got too much, sadly, weight on his shoulders. What Fug expects from him, what they want from him, his friends' safety in their lives, on top of what he wants, still dealing with the trauma of Rachel's betrayal, and not fully, even all these years later, knowing what to make of it. Like, what am I going to say to her when I do meet up with her again? Like, what can I say? What will I do? Will I forgive her? Will I still hate her? There's just so much. And so he doesn't have a lot of reasons to smile. And just those little moments, it kind of breaks through. It's like, right, there's still some form of Baum still in there, buried underneath everything he's been through, everything he's dealing with. So he goes off and talks to Hor-Yang, who confronts Baum, because he's like, whatever your circumstances is, that red skeleton thing, you're a living ignition weapon, aren't you? How did you do that? Did Fog do that to you? If they did, that would mean Fog had something to do with the living ignition weapon situation with the workshop. So Hor-Yang is going to try and force Baum to summon it, but Baum's like, well, I can't tell you, because he legitimately doesn't know anything. I think he also can't control it. Like, as we've seen, the only time it's come out is when he's gotten injured, during episode 1 as well as episode 7, when he fought Mazino and got hurt. So it's never come out willingly. It's always been subconsciously. It comes out to, like, save him. So they, Baum, being who he is not trying to fight Hor-Yang, and ends up, and Hor-Yang stops short because he's not trying to hurt Baum. He just wants to hear the truth from Baum. Baum's like, I have no idea. All I know is that, Jin Sung had told him, like, hey, I can give you the power to acquire everything or abandon everything and find your own path. But I can only give you, like, a little bit of that power now. And whatever it was, Fug had been keeping their eyes on. He was like, yeah, it was hidden on the test floor, and they kept an eye on it for a while. He's like, they put it in me, and that's all I know. I don't know much about it. But the moment I heard your story, I knew it sounded like my situation, because he kind of went through a similar thing of, so much pain that he slipped in and out of consciousness like Hor-Yang and Kasano did. But it's like, I don't, because for Hor-Yang, he wants to find out, because he wants to stop what happened. Because for him, so much of his, like, they have to live on, because, and that was actually why Hor-Yang stopped climbing the floors because he felt bad using power that he gained after the sacrifice of 99,997 other children. It's like it feels gross to use this power to benefit myself, so that's why he stopped. And now it's like, I'm gonna use this power to get towards my brother again. Because for him, so many people viewed him as a monster. They only wanted him for his power. But for the first time, it's like he met a group of people. It's like, you guys don't want any of that from me. You just accepted me as a friend. You guys have kind of become like a new family for me. Once again, let's not forget, it's been 2 years too. So it's not like they've just been like, they didn't. It's like, no, there was a 2-year time skip in between episode 7 and 8. So they've spent even more time together, which I think speaks volumes that even after all this time, it took this long for Hor-Yang to finally talk. But even they were like, oh yeah, Hor-Yang's talking a lot more than he normally does, because he knew what this meant. He was planning on going on his own regardless, but like hearing them all wanting to come along, he was kind of happy about it. But at the same time, he knows how dangerous this is, and he doesn't want them mixed up in it. It might be a trap, and it's like, if I fall in it, that's one thing, but I'm not going to let my new family go through that. And, once again, it's a new start. Not only for Hor-Yang was this the new start, it's also the first people that Bomb got close to post the time skip. So there are so many parallels where like I said from the beginning, when Viola heard his story, like Bomb was like, I get it, I understand. And for Hor-Yang, he's like, I know you do. He's like, I knew from the beginning, like, you had nothing to do with this. Whether Fug did or not, that's another thing. But I know you, Bomb, like, I know you, Viola, I know that you would never sacrifice anyone for power. He's like, that's not who you are. I had to kind of make that clear before, because he probably knew that Bomb was probably worried about it too. Like, right, the power that's inside of me is the same thing that's in Hor-Yang, and so many children were sacrificed to give the power to Hor-Yang, so that same thing was done here. I'm benefiting from power that was used to sacrifice, once again, 99,997 children, so once again, just the terrible people and things that kind of go down in this tower. But either way, Hor-Yang wants to go off on his own, and Bomb doesn't say anything to the rest of the team because he knows, like, if he tells them, they'll follow after Hor-Yang, and he doesn't want that, You see him kind of staring up at the night sky at the very end of the episode, very much like the first time he saw the sky before being brought into the tower. Well, yeah, inside the tower. Like I said, I don't remember if they talked about this a lot. I feel like the webtoon might have covered it, but they've kind of referenced it in this season, because they don't talk about it too much. The outer tower doesn't get brought up a lot, because like there's the outer tower, there's the middle area, and then there's inside the tower. The middle area is the more is where most people live. It's just the more residential areas of the tower, whereas like the outer tower is just like, once again, like if people brought into the tower, like that's where you were just like, everyone's just from outside of the tower, from the outer layer of the tower. No one's from like outside like Rachel and Bomb are. Once again, special cases in those regards, especially in Bomb's case. But either way, on the other side of things, we're picking up with the whole situation with Emily and Kun, who's kind of still having a hard time believing. It's like, wait, there's no way Bomb is alive. But he's like, how would anyone know that Bomb's alive? He's like, Shibisu, like none of him or the squad would ever do, like they would never do anything like that. But then it's like, then does that mean other people in the tower are aware of Bomb? It's like, yeah, like he hasn't, like, he was still on, like, we're talking the first 2 floors of the tower, so there's no way after all that time, like, and all these years later, it's just like, oh, he's just a regular that died. Like, very few people, only certain people would be aware of Bomb's existence as an irregular, as we know, Fug, but that's about it. Because Bomb's name is lost to so many other people. People know the name Jovial Grace now, sure, but, like, Bomb, so, like, who else would know enough about Bomb to fake it? And that's what Kun's trying to figure out. I mean, as we know about Kun, he is someone that overthinks things because he doesn't want to even allow himself to really believe. It's like, can I really believe that Bomb's alive? Like, I don't want to get my hopes up because I think this is someone messing with me, but who would mess with me? Who would have the knowledge about Bomb to specifically know the name Bomb? Because even Kun doesn't know that Bomb and Jovial Grace are the same person. And it's like, well, who told you about Bomb? And it's like, oh, you want to know? And Emily's like, Emily told me, so. There's a whole situation of, it turns out that we're going to have two stories colliding, both sides of things, both VIDS, Bomb's team, as well as the situation with Kasano, because Kun is also looking for Kasano. I actually don't remember the reason why. This is conjecture. It might be, maybe on some level I remember this, or yeah, it feels like, I can only assume, like I said, maybe this is the real reason, but I don't think it is. I'd assume because Kun knows about Kasano, because he's like, right, this is the guy that beat Hot, so I'm like, this is a tough guy, like, I need someone like him on the team I'm building for Rachel. So that's my conjecture. Like I said, I don't remember if that actually is the reason, or is there an actual other reason. I feel like there most likely is another one, but I could be mistaken. But yeah, Kun, Ron, and oh god, I'm blanking on home dude's name. The other dude in their squad ends up going, whereas the other four stay behind to look after Rachel. Well, the chick bird dude or person is sick, so they're staying behind, and the others decided to stay behind. In fact, Kun only goes because I think it's Apple that's like, right, you're the leader, so what are you going to do? So he's like, fine, I'll track them down. It's time to go hunt for a devil. It wasn't until the chick was sick, and I was like, as in chickens, I mean that like as the actual bird. I was like, wait, is this where it was like, okay, I know where this is going to go, but I was like, I couldn't remember the setup around it. So I was like, okay, here we go. The bird being sick. I'm like, okay, so the thing that's going to happen is probably going to happen next episode, because I know that's one of the inciting things, which is, I'm like, okay, it's got to happen in the next episode or two, right? So that's going to be interesting. Because I'm pretty sure that happens all happens while Kun's away. So I'm like, okay. Oh boy. I mean, once again, I got to prepare myself for it, because I knew the moment that episode was at 5, which is like the other team. The moment that episode happened, I'm like, I remember where this storyline goes. So that's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, I don't remember everything revolved around the Kasano situation. I feel like I vaguely remember it, and where things kind of go on that front. I remember some of the later living ignition weapon stuff related to Horyang and Kasano and Miss Sophia. Like, there's another element to it. I know that, but I just don't remember how it all plays out entirely. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see. Once again, there's only like a couple episodes left in the season, because like I said, I think this season's only 13 episodes like season 1 was, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see where the next episode takes us. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.